popping.
Popcorn.
A popcorn brain. That's what we're going to be talking about on this week's episode of
Get Real with the
English Sisters.
So if you're new to the podcast, please subscribe if you enjoy it. And if you're an old friend, brother or sister, enjoy it too.
Absolutely. Right, so let's get popping. So what is his podcast brain?
I think it's like brain that always wants to be looking for new emotions.
Yeah, actually the term was coined by David Levy in 2011. And it actually means, yes, it's like the brain is overstimulated by online use, excessive online use. And I think maybe in 2011 it was just still...
Well, it's fairly new then, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think everybody had this popcorn brain, but now I'm beginning to think, well, we all might be, afflicted by this condition.
I was watching a film yesterday and I was getting a bit bored, so I quickly went on my phone.
You went to pop, didn't
you?
Yes, you did.
But I was on my...
Confess, you were just like scrolling through your phone.
Yeah, my husband was watching something on the computer and I started watching a film which was a bit boring.
There you go. I mean,
but I do notice that, like, before I would have the patience, like, to sit through, especially if I'm at home. Well, obviously, if you're at the cinema, you have to. But,
you can actually eat popcorn when you're in the cinema.
Yeah, but you have to.
Yeah.
I would notice that I would, like... I quickly I fast forward all the credits at the beginning of the film. I just can't be bothered with them.
Well,
like all the music at the beginning, all the credits.
Skip intro. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Skipping all the intros.
That's not good, is it? That's popcorn.
What actually has happened, or what is happening right now to our brains, is that we've all become accustomed to this fast pace, always being constantly entertained in some way or another. So when we're like living in the real life is much slower. There are times of like, you'll be just waiting for a bus, and if you don't have your smartphone, in the olden days, you'd either be reading a newspaper, a book, but things are slower when you read them, or you'd be looking around and maybe... I don't know.
Yeah, I was also
getting bored, getting bored.
A podcast, for instance, when I listen to some podcasts, I might give a new podcast a go. And if they've got a lot of music at the beginning and that, I just can't be bothered with it. I fast forward, or I just think, oh, this is a boring podcast.
Really?
Yeah, because they make such a big meal about the intro.
Right, okay, but do you think this is because your brain has become a little bit accustomed to like getting
things quickly.
Info and quickly, yeah. Well, yeah, but there are some negative effects of this popcorn brain. And,
I realise it too, because it's making us lose our patience.
Exactly.
Whereas before we had to be very patient with things and like slow down and think, oh, well, you might go into a little bit of a daydream if something's a bit boring.
Exactly.
For instance, with the podcast, if you're driving and the boring intro comes in, your mind just wanders off and you start, daydreaming about something, which could be you could have a very creative idea in that moment.
Exactly. So, and these kind of pauses apparently are fundamental for our brains. And the fact that we're being like hacked by this technology, it really is hacking into our brain, and it's not allowing us to have these pause times. We
do daydream.
We do get creative, because you're just like yesterday. I was doing it consciously, trying, since I knew I was probably going to be talking about this popcorn brain thing on the podcast. I thought, gosh, let me try. And I was waiting at the in a waiting room, and I actually noticed, honestly, of course, 95% of people were just heads down on the smartphone. I actually sneaked around, being a bit of a, just trying to see what they were looking at, and most of them were some form of reel or other. It was just information going by really quickly, and they were just scrolling with their fingers. And I thought, no, I'm not going to do this. And I didn't do it for about 2 hours. And I started just looking at people and observing them.
I think always that weirdo.
Yeah, one girl was actually, she was a student girl. She had lovely curly hair. I just started admiring her hair. And then I thought, gosh, it looks like I'm, Then her eyes actually looked at mine. And I thought, God, this is almost going to be weird now. And then I smiled and it overcame. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, because in the end I was just looking out. Then I looked out the window and I saw San Pietro, because we were in Rome, and I saw the Campidoglio. I don't know what that's called in
Campidoglio. Capitoline Hill, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the English, and I thought, wow, and I thought, God, I'm actually getting to see the view as well, without actually always being on my phone. There was another sneaky motive, is I didn't want my battery life to run down too much. So I thought I get two birds. I killed two birds with one stone, to be quite honest, because I knew I was going to have to wait there for ages and ages. And I thought, well, let me try and not, always be on my phone.
Yeah, I think so. I think this, what we've just talked about now, has hit it on the nail.
Yeah.
Because what we don't realise is that these, like, what we consider like waste of time moments are when your mind wanders and you have that moment to actually breathe.
Those pauses are essential for the human mind. AI doesn't need those pauses. That can go on all night and all day and never have the need. But as humans, we do need to have those.
So do you think that's why there's been a big increase in anxiety then?
Absolutely. Yeah. There are studies that show that the popcorn brain does suffer from anxiety.
Yeah, because you're always like you're always scrolling to get the next fix, almost like adrenaline fix, a dopamine fix, something that's gonna placate your mind.
Yes,
with some kind of
keep your
excitement.
Mind busy with some kind of little pop, whether it's something on Insta or something that you find interesting. Or for a lot of people, it's just the world news. They might be obsessed with that and then just scrolling through, looking at graphic content that is giving your mind a pop, but obviously is also causing you a level of anxiety that has been unheard of before.
I know.
So that's absolutely not...
I think it's time to take a deep breath.
Yeah. And disconnect ourselves from the constant streaming of information.
What a lot of people don't realise, and maybe you do realise it as well, is that everything you consume is like being fed to you by algorithms.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you want to shake it up a bit, I would just suggest going to search for something that's completely might be something that's quite mindful for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Like going
if you're hooked onto
the stars or something, planets.
Yeah.
Something that'll take you out of these.
And also, I think, an antidote to this popcorn brain is to make our smartphones a little bit harder to get. What I mean by that is in the morning, as soon as you wake up in the morning, I'm guilty of this as well. I have my smartphone right next to me.
I do, but I don't look at it for ages.
Well, that's great. Yeah. But I would even try and look at it just with one eye because the light was bright, so obsessed with business, obsessed with reading the email. Gosh, it's really awful. So, for the past week, I haven't been doing that.
I wonder why.
Well, because I've been operated on my eyes.
I don't know.
That's a bit cheeky. I had the implants put in, the toric implants for astigmatism, and I also had cataracts, which I had removed, and I had these. I must say I'm doing very well. But yes, Violetta says that's why.
I think that's a bit.
That is a bit
cheat sheet.
Yeah. But even before I had the surgery, I would go to my phone, and anyway, now I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, this morning I took a deep breath.
Phone. I hardly ever look at it now.
Yeah, I know. That's good.
I was thinking that's why business isn't going so.
Yeah, no wonder the sales have gone down. Hey, you start looking at your phone a little bit more. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I try not to do it now. So I thought if I make my life a little bit difficult, instead of having my phone plugged in right to my bedside table, I can put it on the dresser that's a couple of meters away in my bedroom.
Right.
And charge it there. The alarm, I'll still hear it if I need an alarm, but it won't be right there.
Yeah, I just use mine for an alarm, but then I don't look at it for ages. But probably about an hour in.
Gosh.
Usually when I'm just...
No, most people will look at their phones as soon as they wake up.
I used to more now, but now I don't. I suppose I made a conscious effort not to.
You did make a conscious effort. It's probably
and
stressing you.
I think the more you detox from it as well, the more you realise how it is manipulating you and getting you hooked onto things.
And also these notification banners just
all of them
increase your popcorn. Because look, whether you're selling something online, for example, and you hear that ching ching, and that gets you tense, or the email notifications, you're expecting emails. My goodness me. Yeah.
Now I've turned all notifications off.
I think that's a really good idea, especially after like 6 p.m. or something. Yeah. These are really helpful.
Not that we won't see your messages, only of, notifications that aren't necessary.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like there was an example where this Levy, this professor, he said he was working with people, and he was working with this man, and he said, so what do you do when you go home? You finally put your phone down when you go home. And the man said, well, like for example, last night he said I was supposed to bathe the children, and he said I like as soon as I got home I said to my wife, yeah, sure, I'll bathe the kids. He said, and then I picked up my phone and I started answering emails, and then in the end he said he went on social media, and it got a bit late, and in the end he missed the kids' bath time. And so he said the appeal to the smartphone was stronger than, even though he wanted to bathe the kids, because he said he enjoyed the time with the children. So what are you saying? He tried to get away from it?
I'm saying he didn't really want to do it that much.
I don't know if he wanted to do it or not, but he was obviously with the professor.
He's addicted.
Yes, he was addicted. He was addicted to his phone.
But I think that's where you really have to set boundaries, things like that. Because otherwise, the thing is that when you're on your phone, especially if you're
it was an urge to use the phone. It was described in the study.
If you have an urge to use the phone, it means that you're not really present, are you, in the present moment with what you're supposed to be doing with real people in the real life?
No, exactly. It's because real life is slower.
I don't know if it's just slower, it's just that it's harder sometimes.
Yeah, that is.
And it's uncomfortable because you might get your kids screaming or shouting.
And you want to get away from it.
And just choosing what say if you've been looking at cat videos or dog videos, whatever you've been doing, and you choose, or whoever it is, whatever you've chosen
whatever you
to
like,
look
football,
at.
Sport,
whatever you've chosen, and you're just been getting fed that. It's just like, it's almost like, what's it called, like tranquilizing you.
Yes, it's like turning you into some kind of a zombie. It's zombifying you, really.
It's almost like drugging you into this sense of
I think this kind of AI does hack into your brain, and it understands what your algorithms, the stuff that you watch, and then it just spits it out to you continuously, so that you end up watching more of that content.
You just end up brain dead, don't you? And you've missed out on everybody.
But you might not be brain dead, but you certainly have this popcorn brain thing, and it only gets worse. It doesn't actually get better until you consciously realise, my gosh, addicted. Yeah, maybe I have popcorn brain as well, and you start thinking, gosh, can I try like what I did in the waiting room yesterday? Can I try and not, it's also you save your battery. Can I try and not look at my phone for like 10 minutes now? Okay, so I'm going to be sitting here at the train station, bus station, where I won't look at my phone for 10 minutes. Start off slow, 5 minutes even. Some people, that's a really long time.
I think that the most...
10 minutes.
Yeah, I think the most harmful ones are like the shorts. The short videos. The reels, because they just really do, they keep disengaging and engaging your brain constantly.
Exactly.
Whereas if you watch a longer video, it's not the same. Mind you, a lot of them are edited now in very short bursts, so there's not that much, there isn't that much time for your mind to wander. They kind of keep you hooked on.
No, that's right. And in order to learn and to solidify the information and the content, we need, like what you said, to be able to digest it. And the digestion can be as short as literally 2 to 3 minutes just to digest the information we've learned. But our brain does need these pauses. This is scientifically, proven that we do need to have these pauses. So yes, having constant information, in the end, perhaps we don't even really remember what we were watching. If somebody says to you, okay, you've been scrolling for an hour, what was one thing that you can still remember? Say, I don't know, lots of videos about cooking or something. Did you understand it? I mean, at least cooking is kind of useful, isn't it? You think, okay, I'm learning recipes, but when it becomes just watching one,
I think if you are learning, it's different. If you actually say, I'm going to watch it to learn, and then you go and look at the recipe, and then you make it.
They've got so fast as well on the Insta. Oh, no, that's taking an action. That's not, that's actually really good.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
depends how you consume the content. If you're just scrolling, if it's just one video after another, and you're laughing,
already laughing is
good.
Yeah, it
sounds good. But if it's actually taking you away from your real life, I mean, Otto, our little dog, he doesn't even like it. If I get the phone out,
he gets upset.
He'll go away. I'll get the phone out to take a picture of him.
And he runs away.
And he goes away. As soon as he sees the phone, I've got it in my hand. He doesn't want anything to do with it because he knows I'm not going to be giving him his individual attention.
Our little rescue cat, when she comes on my lap and I have my phone because I want to check it or whatever, she actually gets her little paw and pushes the phone away. It makes me laugh because she doesn't want to be stroked with just one hand and not proper attention. She wants me to stroke her with both hands. And actually, hello, little one, and actually talk to her. Whereas I'm not doing it if I'm holding one phone. And I mean, this is an example of our pets, but let's talk about, our kids.
Oh, yeah.
When you're not giving them the full attention either, that has a different, series of very serious consequences. So, if you do have young children, you have to be aware of this as well. Please be aware of it.
Exactly.
Because they just don't get that full attention that they want. Like we're talking about our pets. When our kids were little, luckily there weren't any phones because we would have been guilty of it as well, probably. Looking at our phones,
Well, yeah, I think it's almost inevitable unless you actually put it away.
Yeah.
You have to make a conscious effort of actually putting it away and silencing it and then not looking at it.
The same way, we create boundaries with work, and with friends and things. I think we're going to have to start really creating boundaries with our own phones and say no.
Well, I watched, I think it was a TED Talk or someone was saying, imagine if I'm talking to you like now, if we're doing this podcast, because you can see it if you watch on YouTube, and I've got the phone here and I'm just holding it, but I'm still talking to you, but I'm holding my phone. How does that make you feel? And all the people in the audience were thinking, no, I don't feel it.
Yeah.
I feel it's like at any minute you're going to be looking at your phone or going to it or trying to do something with it. I don't feel as if you're fully here.
The same study was done with the dating. They said when two people were dating, if the person placed their phone on the table, the other person said that they didn't feel as if they got the full attention as if the person had their phone in the pocket.
Well, you couldn't see it.
Yeah, because they felt that, no, this person might get...
It doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me either, yeah. So put the phone away, especially if you're dating, you want to find out info about somebody.
Well, you want to feel that they're really there.
Not info. You want me. God, that sounds terrible. You want to get to know that person when you're dating.
That did sound bad.
Yeah. You want to get info. It's like, okay.
It's just as well you're not dating.
Yeah. Gosh, I'll probably interview them. I'm so bad at that kind of stuff.
I think we'll close on that funny note.
Okay, then. So beware. You don't want your brain popping like a popcorn, cooking. Make sure that, you do protect yourself on this.
Yeah, and have times where you just say, okay, I'm going to be bored now for 5 minutes. And then just I'm going to sit in the train and
look outside the window, see the trees passing by.
I think it's also part of this have it all culture as well, that we have to have everything so quickly and having everything so like handy for us. Fast and handy. I mean...
Goodness me.
I mean, like we were saying before, just to make a phone call before, it used to be a massive...
Just to find information, you'd have to go to a library and get a book. Come on. So yes, sometimes let's get some good things from the past and bring them into the future so we can still have lovely use of our phones and just have a healthy balance with it.
Like with our planet now, that we're taking more care of our planet.
Yeah.
With with trying not to use so much wrapping and trying to reuse things, upcycle things.
Yeah.
Well, with our minds, we have to take care of our minds as well, not to consume information so much and so rapidly.
Exactly. Allow for the pauses.
Allow for the pauses and sort of minimalize things a little bit too.
Absolutely.
So let us know what you think. You can comment on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also come and see us on YouTube, where we'd love for you to leave a comment and we'll say hi to you.
Yes, absolutely.
Lots of love and smiles from the English sisters.